Hello guys, Kevin Rogers for the Crappie Academy. I'm here to talk to you today about the ABCs of crappie fishing, jig fishing in general. Kind of a jig fisherman during the tournament trails. It's the way I like to fish. I prefer to fish that way, do it all over the country. Right now we're in the dead of summer, one of the best times to go crappie jig fishing. It's my absolute favorite time to go jig fishing because the fish are, you can figure them out pretty easy. There isn't cold fronts rolling in and out in the springtime and fall time. So if you don't jig fish during the summer months, man, get out there and try it. Today we're going to talk about the lead head size, the jig head size for what I do for my jig fishing. Note while I'm talking here, all of our jig fishing is done in dingy to stained water. So may not pertain exactly to clear water. I stay away from clear water here in Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, where we do most of our tournament crappie fishing. The water is dingy. At least you can find some dingy water. I like the dingy water because here in the summer months, even when it's 100 degrees, you can still go out and find crappie in 5 to 10 foot of water. That's why I like the dingy water. So for our dingy water crappie fishing, something that we do a little bit unorthodox than most crappie fishing, we use large lead heads. This lead head right here is a 3/16 ounce Bobby Garland Moglo head. That is our #1 go-to lead head. We start every tournament day with this size lead head, and very rarely do we go down, say, to a smaller 16th ounce. We never ever jig with a 16th ounce Bobby Garland head, or any lead head for that matter. We just don't do it. We like the feel of the larger size jig head. You can feel it. You keep track of that lead head a lot better, and I guarantee you those large lead heads do not scare off the crappie. So if this is something you haven't done, try these larger size jig heads. You can feel that jig on that 10-foot jigging pole a lot better. We've also been known when it's real windy to go to even a larger lead head than this. Bobby Garland makes this in 32nd ounce up to 3/16 ounce. We'll go all the way up to a larger lead head, all the way up to a ½ ounce lead head. We have actually won tournaments in Arkansas and Kansas fishing this ½ ounce lead head, and that just freaks people completely out, and they think that's way too big to fish for crappie. Absolutely false. I mean, you look at the size of that, that's no bigger than a minnow, not even close. Minnow's 3 inches, that thing's little. So don't be afraid of a ¼ ounce or a ½ ounce lead head for jigging crappie, especially if you're fishing 16 foot deeper. You can actually feel a lot better than this. This 16th ounce head, the only time we'll ever use is if we're trolling, when we're spider rigging, and we actually have a bell weight above it, and we're just using it for a hook. We never jig with this. So our go-to bait is a 3/16 ounce Moglo head year-round. This is our #1 lure. So something we do a little bit different than most folks is we never use an unpainted lead head, and it amazes me that people still use an unpainted crappie jig head. I don't get that. I don't understand it. Always use a painted head. And something we do, we try to mix up the lead head color with the body of the lure. This is a Bobby Garland 3-inch slab slayer, black and pink, one of my all-time favorites. Tip that with chartreuse. Regardless of the tail color, you still got black and chartreuse there. It gives it a different contrast, a different color. Here's another example of that. Here's a brand new color called Pennyback by Bobby Garland, 3-inch slab slayer, and I got it on an orange head. So that's kind of the size we use. The ABCs of jig heads for us, large 3/16 ounce is our #1 go-to. You can just feel it so much better. So give that a try. Try those bigger size lead heads, and make sure you're using a painted lead head too, especially if you're fishing dingy water. One little tip that we do with our lead heads that I'll show you here, new for Bobby Garland last year, is that blade sliding up and down my line. That's called a crappie tickler from Bobby Garland. That's just a little bitty willow leaf blade I slide on my line prior to tying on my lead head. That's a chartreuse color. They make them in 4 different colors. They come in a package, a sorted package. Try that thing out. That thing's pretty cool. Been doing this for several years, and folks, Bobby Garland finally started making them, so you guys can go purchase these now. They were hard to find. What that does, that slides up and down that line, gives a little bit of flash, a little vibration, hits that lead head, makes some noise, something just a little bit different. Again, those are crappie ticklers from Bobby Garland, so try that. So that's my ABCs, my basic standard jig fishing lead head. Always painted, 3/16 ounce. I like the bigger size because of the dingy to stained water we're fishing. So hey, make sure you go on Facebook and like the Crappie Academy's Facebook page. They're going to be throughout the summer giving you a lot of tips and techniques just about the basics of crappie fishing, along with some serious heavy pro techniques as well on trolling and spider rigging, planer board, and all that great stuff. So, and then also like this page on YouTube as well. Thank you. I hope this helps your fishing.